Would you invest in this property, which is for sale at 19.5 million on this location, close to a golf course and a bit away from the beach? Or would you invest in this property, which is more modern and slightly bigger than the previous one, located in this location, at a much bigger golf course and a much better and more private beach in more proximity, at just 10 million dirhams, with a much flexible payment plan with only 5% to be paid this year? Well, the first property that I showed was a property that I picked from Property Finder, which is actually for sale at Saadiyat Island, which was built over 10 years ago. And the latter one is a villa at Hudayriyat Island by Modon Developments in their newest project, Hudayriyat Golf Estates. Let's get into the video and understand the investment thesis of Hudayriyat Golf Estates. First of all, let me walk you through the flow of today's video, what you are going to expect throughout the video. First, we are going to talk about Abu Dhabi, Abu Dhabi's ecosystem, how Abu Dhabi operates, because it's quite different from how Dubai operates. Abu Dhabi's importance as a global financial hub. Then we will talk about Modon as a developer, the significance of Modon, which is pretty important because they are a government-backed developer. And then we will get into Hudayriyat Island, the importance of Hudayriyat Island in the Abu Dhabi's growth story. They are offering some pretty impressive amenities which are not that common in a lot of communities in UAE. The scarcity aspect of the investment that at discussion, that's also something that we will touch upon. And then comparables, what other similar comparable villa communities are available comparing to the investment at discussion, Hudayriyat Golf Estates. That's where we would be able to understand how much of value this particular investment is offering. What is the margin between what's available and what's being sold at, the price difference and the value difference. That's where the real money is for an investor. And then we are going to talk about the product breakdown itself, Hudayriyat Golf Estates, amenities, some sample layouts and certain details about the product itself. And then, of course, the payment plan, pricing, leverage opportunities because of the payment plan. Because the payment plan is pretty impressive. It's not something that a government developer offers, certainly not in Dubai. That's something mind-blowing. Return on equity, and something very important, the trophy property aspect, and that is where you are going to understand how the property is going to perform in the long term. Well, let's go through it in detail when I talk about it. And finally, the conclusion, which is also very important, particularly if you are a foreign investor or if you are someone who has money, who wants to invest but is a bit concerned with what's going on in the region. I'll be addressing that a bit and a few other aspects at the conclusion. So this is how the video is going to flow. So let's get into the first section. Why Abu Dhabi? Well, the difference between Dubai and Abu Dhabi is that Dubai's growth story unwinds across different communities and different corridors, locations. For example, if you look at Vision 2040, there are 5 key areas. You have Expo City, you have Silicon Oasis, likewise, right? Abu Dhabi is a bit different. Abu Dhabi's growth story is evolving around different islands. Well, before talking about the islands, just like Dubai, where Dubai has a Vision 2040, they wanted to diversify their economy into various sectors. Abu Dhabi also wanted to do that. One of the key reasons is actually Abu Dhabi is more reliant on oil revenue more than Dubai. Almost 50% of their GDP is the contribution is coming from oil, and they wanted to diversify from that, and they put out a Vision 2030, which is not that known by many people because the way Dubai markets itself and its vision is a bit different from how Abu Dhabi operates. So that's where Abu Dhabi city is going at, and Abu Dhabi's growth is centered around islands versus Dubai, it goes across communities, right? Let's understand that island concept by looking at the map. So if you look at Actually, Abu Dhabi is the biggest emirate of UAE and it is the capital of UAE, right? However, a majority of the economic activity of the Abu Dhabi city is centered around this location. You know, this this is the main Abu Dhabi city. This particular island is the oldest, basically, right? Then you have a few areas around that. You have the Khalifa city, Musaffa. A few areas around that you have the Zayed International Airport here. So basically, this and around this is where the old Abu Dhabi city is centered around. So a majority of the economic activity over the past 2-3 decades has been happening around this location. So as part of the expansion of Abu Dhabi and the diversification plans to be less reliant on oil, as I was saying earlier, city planned its development across islands. What do I mean? So this is the main Abu Dhabi city island that we spoke about. Now if you look at the other islands, a few prominent ones, Saadiyat is one of the oldest and most prominent islands. Saadiyat is one which highlights the cultural aspect of Abu Dhabi's growth story. You have Louvre there, you have the Gagane Museum, you have the Sheikh Zayed Museum, which is a state-of-the-art facility designed by Norman Foster, who is a designer behind Apple Park in California. And then you have leading universities like the Berkeley University, New York University, and a few state-of-the-art schools. So Saadiyat Island is positioned as the cultural and education hub. Then you have Yas Island, which I'm sure you know if you have ever visited or if you have ever explored UAE, is the entertainment hub. You have the Ferrari World, you have the Warner Brothers, Sea World, you have the Etihad Arena. Disney World announced that they are going to come in. So Yas Island is the entertainment hub of Abu Dhabi. Then you have Reem Island and Maryah Island, both together. That is the financial hub of Abu Dhabi. You have the Abu Dhabi Global Market, the ADGM, located there. You have big names of companies located there. So that's the financial hub. That island is the financial hub. Then you have, this is the Abu Dhabi main city as we discussed. Then if you talk about Hudayriyat Island, to put it in brief, because we'll talk about Hudayriyat Island in detail, this is being positioned as an ultra luxury, sports, wellness plus beach lifestyle island, right? It's predominantly residential with some ultra luxury sports amenities. There are various other islands as well, but let's stop here because I just wanted to give you the idea of how the Abu Dhabi growth story happens. One other thing that you need to understand is the scale and the capacity of Abu Dhabi as an emirate. How powerful it is, that matters, because that is ultimately what's going to determine who is going to live in these villas that we are going to talk about, right? Because these are luxury villas, these are high-end properties. Okay, so for that, I'm going to explore a bit about this particular island, which is Reem and Maryah Island, the financial hub of Abu Dhabi, right? Well, to start with, Abu Dhabi Global Market, ADGM, is among the top 20 stock exchanges in the world, and it is the #1 leading stock exchange in the MENA region. That tells a lot. That's one thing. What else? The scale of sovereign wealth that's being managed by Abu Dhabi, this one emirate, particularly ADGM, let's say this one island, Maryah and Reem Island, it's almost closer to $2 trillion of sovereign wealth that's being managed by this one island. To put it in context, that's almost half of the GDP of the entire UK, which is almost 4.3 trillion. Well, obviously this is evident if you look at certain names that are present in ADGM. You have the likes of BlackRock, Apollo, Morgan Stanley, and many such big players, big global players present in ADGM. And a recent example, just to put things in context, early May, end of April, after this crisis situation began, one particular billionaire, the richest billionaire in Egypt, shut down their entire operations in the UK due to unfavorable tax policies. And guess where they moved? To Abu Dhabi, to ADGM to be specific. They moved their family office, which is NSS Group, the billionaire being Nasib Sawasir. Well, these things obviously show the power and the capacity of Abu Dhabi as an emirate. Why did I even talk about this aspect a bit in detail? Because this shows the caliber of people that are going to live and work around this location, and they will have a certain expectation, certain quality standard in terms of the place where they live. Let that thought sink in, because that matters for the rest of this video. Now let's understand a bit about Modon as a developer. Before that, let's take a step back and understand, unlike Dubai, where you have so many developers, government and private developers. I mean, if you ask me for the top 10 developers, I could easily point out MR, Nakil, Miraz, Damak, Shoba, so many, right? Abu Dhabi, there is only two names. It's either Modon or Aldar. Where rest, everyone is small scale individual developers. These two developers dominate the market, right? And both of them are government and government backed, okay? So most of the islands that we discussed is developed either by Modon or by Aldar. That's it. The chairman of Modon Developments is the chairman of Abu Dhabi Department of Finance. He is a board member of the Abu Dhabi Investment Authority, which again manages around 1 trillion of sovereign wealth. He is a board member of ADNOC and Fab Bank. This is important because we are going to touch upon this at the end of the video. And most importantly, he is the vice chairman of the Central Bank of UAE. I'm not going to talk any more about the scale and the capacity of this developer. Now, before moving forward, I would like to request something from you. A lot of you are viewing my videos, benefiting. I'm seeing a lot of comments and engagement. I would also appreciate if you can subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. That would mean a lot. That would help me reach more and more interested investors and people just like you that could benefit from this content. And in return, I'm going to keep providing valuable content, valuable insights. My aim is to deliver one valuable detailed video every week. Can you help me do that by subscribing to my channel? Now let's get into the next section, Hudayriyat Islands, what it is and why it's important. Hudayriyat Island is part of Abu Dhabi's growth story. As I said, Abu Dhabi is growing across various islands. Hudayriyat is being positioned as the ultra-luxury premium sports, wellness, lifestyle destination. If you zoom in the map, this is how Hudayriyat Island currently looks like. It's a lot under construction. There are certain facilities and amenities that are already ready, such as this 3-to-1 sports facility. You have the Surf Abu Dhabi here. You have an Olympic grade velodrome, which will be ready probably by this year. Previous video, I went on a site tour and I drove through the island. Now, how is this going to be transformed? So this is how it's going to look like once it's transformed. There is going to be 2 golf courses, one here, the project that we are talking about, another golf course here, which is, if you looked at the previous map, it's still partially sand and water there, so it's not developed. What do you have here? You have, just to go through in brief, 2 iconic developments that were launched and sold out, Nawaif East and Nawaif West. First of its kind concept in the world, where they artificially created mountains, elevations up to 70 meters high and villas on an elevation. You have a few other elevated mountains across the community. One is next to our project. I will talk about when I speak about the project in detail. Okay, let's go through the list of items that are available because that's mind-blowing. Look at this. Almost every single part of this is important. 53.6 million square meters, which is almost 51 square kilometers, which is almost the size of Manhattan city. And there's almost 1 million residential units in Manhattan city, just to put it in context, versus 172,000 is the total population, not units, the total population. So it's extremely exclusive, right? 22 kilometers of beach, That's something important. 377,000 square meters of recreation and open spaces, 876,000 community facilities, 6 marinas, 1,861 hospitality rooms, so basically hotels, none of which is launched yet, 16 schools, 6 clinics across the community, 1 hospital, 3 mega retail spaces. This is also very important. I mean, let's talk about when we talk about the project in detail. This is what the island is offering. I can't think of another community in UAE that offers 16 schools, for example, and this exclusive for this big of a land parcel. So that itself speaks volumes of what the developer is offering. Now let's understand what other golf-based villa communities are available in UAE. First of all, if you look at Dubai, if you understand the golf-based communities, we have Ema South, that's one. You have an 18-hole golf course there. We have Jumeirah Golf Estates. We have Emirates Hills. Then we have Damac Hills, Trump Golf Estate, which is again a beautiful golf estate. We have Dubai Hills Golf Estate. These are the big names in Dubai, right? Now if you look at Abu Dhabi, so this is a map of Abu Dhabi city. We have one in Saadiyat Island, right? That's all. Now, out of the villa communities and even apartment communities anywhere in the world, there are 2 things that holds a premium in terms of pricing. One is golf villas, right? Golf facing. The proximity to a golf course in a particular community, that itself would increase the value of properties from between 20 to 40%, depending on how exclusive the particular property itself is. And another community or an aspect that increases the appeal and value of a particular community is waterfront, right? Why? Because golf courses are not that easily maintainable, so not many people can come up with golf courses. Waterfront land can't be replicated. That's exclusive, right? Out of all this, only Saadiyat Island has both golf and waterfront. The other option is going to be Hudayriyat Island. Between Saadiyat and Hudayriyat, so Hudayriyat is going to have 2 golf courses, and the golf course that we are talking about in Hudayriyat Golf Estates is much bigger than what's there in Hudayriyat Islands. And the beach access for Hudayriyat Golf Estates that we are talking about is much closer, much more private, and much more modern and exclusive compared to Saadiyat Islands. So you understand how premium and how limited, how exclusive Hudayriyat Golf Estates as a project is. Now let's understand a few comparables. I have picked 3 comparables, one from Saadiyat Island to resemble Abu Dhabi's pricing, 2 from Dubai, one from Dubai Hills and one from Jumeirah Golf Estates to understand the pricing of Dubai. There are various villa types in Hudayriyat Golf Estates, but for the purpose of the video I have taken one particular type of 5-bedroom villa in these communities, and I am comparing it against a 5-bedroom at Hudayriyat Golf Estates, right? Now if you look at Saadiyat Islands, this is what I showed at the beginning of the video. Similar size, around 5,600 square foot, 19.5 million. Saadiyat Island, this villa is more than 10 years old. If you look at the facade, you'll understand old facades, right? Of course, it's upgraded from internal. This is the price, 19.5 million. Dubai Hills Estate, golf place, again, slightly bigger than what we are talking about, 22.5 million. Then Jumeirah Golf Estates, 19.8 million, right? A villa that has a size of around 6,000 square foot, we are looking at around 20 million across these communities, versus a 5-bed villa similar to the sizes of what we looked at Hudayriyat Golf Estates. The starting price is around 10.5 million. So we are looking at around 11.5 million as a practical price point for a villa. The gap between 11.5 million, say 12 million, and 20 million, which is 8 million, that is your margin. That is your margin as of today, and that's only going to increase as the scarcity value grows over time. So next we have to talk about the specific product, Hudayriyat Golf Estates. Before that, I'll show you one number related to Saadiyat Island so that you can get a sense of what is the pricing in Abu Dhabi for a golf front villa. Take a look at this screenshot. The average of Saadiyat Islands, because Saadiyat Island has apartments, villas, townhouses, right? The average is 2,291. Saadiyat Beach Villas, this is the golf villa community. Average is almost 3,900 dirhams per square foot, right? That itself shows how much demand Abu Dhabi golf villas has, because there is not many golf villa communities in Abu Dhabi, right? Hence the exclusivity. Dubai has the volume. Dubai has a lot of millionaires. Abu Dhabi has a mix of much wealthy millionaires and billionaires, and this price is a reflection of that. That's what they are willing to pay for a golf villa, right? So apart from Saadiyat, the next available option for these people who prefer golf villas is Hudayriyat Golf Estates. Now let's go to the project and understand the project in detail. Okay, so in this island, this particular cluster is the Hudayriyat Golf Estates, right? So you can see the golf course here, which is an 18-hole golf course, right? You have villas here on the first row, on the one side facing the golf course and the other side to the beach, priced 35 million and above. Then the second row villas facing the golf course, priced 26 million. Then you have 5 beds here on the third row, priced 10.5 million plus. Then you have 4-bedroom villas here. Then you have 3 and 4-bedroom townhouses, right? That's the different typologies that are available. A few amenities. You are going to have one of the 6 schools here. So your kids, if you live here, they can just walk or ride their bicycle to the school. What else? There's a mosque here, there's a clinic here, and there is a retail avenue, one of the 3 retail avenues that's in the community. So this side is basically a forest, and further up we have a biotopia. Think of it like a raised elevated nature park for cycling, biking, just walking, enjoying, chilling. That's going to be a very beautiful scene because these beach views are extremely beautiful. I visited there and I saw it for myself. I fell in love with the beach, the color. That's something you can't find in Dubai, right? So from here you can have a look at, you can see that view, right? So that's very important. Another thing is the sports facilities. You have the Surf Abu Dhabi here, which is the region's largest artificial surf pool. You have the velodrome here, which is an Olympic grade velodrome with a seater capacity of over 3,500. So a lot of global cycling racing events are going to happen here. You have 321 Sports, which is again MENA region's largest indoor sports dome. All these are in close proximity to Hudayriyat Golf Estates. And the total number of villas are less than 750. It's around 730 villas in this community that you are going to get, right? So that's exclusive, that is limited supply, and that is something that can be easily replaced. Now let's understand some layouts. The purpose of the layout section is not to walk you through all the layouts available. For the purpose of the video, since it's a detailed analytical video, I'm gonna keep it short. I'm gonna show 2 layouts. Purpose is to understand the exclusivity and the value addition that the developer is providing through these layouts. If you are interested in any specific unit type, I will be discussing the prices in a moment. You can get in touch with me and we can discuss about those. Now first let's understand a 3-bedroom, starting from the size. 2,195, almost 2,200 of a built up and 2,900 of a plot. A 4-bedroom in an average Dubai community would offer around 1,800, 1,900, 2,000 of a plot size. It's a good bit spacious, then we are looking at about 2,500 max, right? For a townhouse. Versus a 3-bedroom, they are offering 2,900 of a plot. That's number one for a start. Now let's go through the layout. You have 2 car parks. As you enter, you have the entrance, pretty spacious. You have a staff room, staff bedroom with a staff bathroom, unique. You have an office room, a study area, again a unique thing. You have a dirty kitchen and a show kitchen for a 3-bedroom townhouse, which usually you get for a villa in any other community in Dubai, even by a leading developer. I mean, you have a laundry room, yes, you have a staff lobby. So these are a few things that caught my attention, unique things, right? I mean, look at the sizes of, you have the family living, family dining, the sheer size of this, right? 5 by 5 meters family living, another 3.6 by 3.1 family dining kitchen. These are the sizes you get again in a semi-detached villa, a 3 or 4 bedroom semi-detached villa in Dubai, right? Then you have the backyard. Since the plot is so big, this landscaping is going to be pretty big, right? Then we go to the first floor. You have all ensuite rooms with ensuite washrooms. The sizes again are pretty spacious, 3.3 by 4.2. Sizes are something that really caught my attention. The master bedroom is very beautiful, 3.5 by 4.7. Master bathroom is again 3.5 by 3 meters. You have a walk-in wardrobe, which is again spacious, almost 2 meters wide and 3 meters long. So this layout for a 3-bedroom townhouse that the developer is offering, just for a 3-bedroom townhouse, that itself speaks volumes. Honestly, I could not find any other 3-bedroom townhouse with this many amenities. A townhouse, no, I couldn't find anywhere in UAE, in Dubai, definitely not. Let's briefly go through a 5-bedroom as well. Again, the plot size for a 5-bedroom, 8,700 square foot of a plot and 5,800 square foot of a built up for a 5-bedroom villa. For the price that it's offering, this 5-bedroom we are looking at about 10.5, 11, 11.5, depending on the placement, right? Again, you can park 4 cars, right? You have, this is your staff room or the driver's room, right? You have again a room, you can convert it into an office, gym, bedroom. You have a pool toilet here. There's a pool at the back. I haven't captured it, right? Yeah, there's a pool at the back that's being offered. Then you have a pool toilet, right? Again, it's beautiful. Family living, dining. You have a kind of private majlis setup. You have a patio here. And if you go to the first floor rather, you have the bedrooms here, right? You have a family room, which is an open space for family. You have the master bedroom. You have the other bedrooms, all ensuite, right? So this is also a very beautiful layout, very spacious, built up and plot sizes, right? That's what I wanted to highlight about the layouts. So as I said, there's townhouses and villas from 3 to 6 bedrooms. Now let's understand the pricing and the payment plan. So 3 bedrooms starting from 4.2 million, 4 bedrooms starting from almost 5 million, 4-bedroom golf homes starting from around 7.7 million, 5-bedroom villas from 10.1 million. Then the 6-bedroom Fairway villas overlooking the golf course, 26. 6-bedroom mansions overlooking the golf course and the beach, 35 million and above. You can keep a margin of around 10% plus just to understand the practical pricing, because obviously these are the starting prices. Then the payment plan. This is the most important part. It's a 40-60 payment plan, which is definitely not something you can expect in Dubai by a government developer. There are small boutique developers, private developers offering this, but not a government developer at a golf villa, which exclusive beach access, definitely not. And the breakdown of that 40% is even more important. Only 5% down, and that's all you have to pay for this year. Then 10% every year, right? Even if you take a villa worth 10 million, we are looking at 500,000 that you have to pay this year, plus the 2% land department fee. $1 million every year, right? And 60% at handover. That's all. The payment plan is extremely flexible. So if you wish to, even if you are a non-resident, you still can opt for a mortgage at handover, right? Or if you are a resident, same case. This property Now let's understand who has to invest, who should buy these properties, right? This investment is something that we could consider as a trophy investment. Now, how does trophy investments work? With trophy investments, the upside is extremely high, right? With an average investment, even if it is an exceptional good project. For example, let's say a phenomenally well-built project by a good developer, say Imtiaz, for example, right? With spacious layouts, beautiful product, that would command an upside or a premium, say around 20% above the average market in that particular community. That's how a good investment works in any other community. However, trophy properties, that upside is extremely high because it's not that easily replaceable. A property like this on a golf course with private beach access, close proximity to a golf course, that is what wealthy people look for, right? So there is demand, and that demand is going to grow as and when the city grows. Now we saw how the scale of financial activity that's happening in Abu Dhabi, right? That's only going to grow, right? That's only going to grow over the next decade and the decade and a half. As and when it grows, since this kind of concepts are not that easily replaceable, these wealthy people that move into the city, the demand for these properties are going to keep growing. That's how trophy assets work, right? Hence the upside is extremely high. A villa that's worth 10 million today, we already saw comparables. If it is ready today, it could easily sell at 20 million. Meaning, at the time of handover, you're going to have a buyer, if you want to resell, who is willing to pay at least 20 million for this villa, right? And it's going to only increase. So if you talk about if you want to flip it at handover, we are looking at, say, from 10 to 20 million is 100% of an appreciation. Forget about 100%. Let's put it at 80%, right? You're buying a villa worth 10 million. You're selling it at 16 million or rather 18 million, right? You would only have invested 4 million by handover, right? You are making 8 million on that 4 million, which is 200% of a return. And you are easily going to find a buyer for that if you want to flip. If you want to hold the property, then the upside is, for example, Emirates sales, the prices have crossed 100 million for certain villas, right? It's only increasing. Now, one final part that I wanted to show, because when I talk to investors, there are investors who have money who want to invest, but sometimes they are a bit concerned with everything that's happening in the market, right? As someone that live here, that I speak to many investors like on a daily basis, different investors, right? Certain investors are a bit skeptical and concerned. Certain investors look for opportunities where like distressed deals or better payment plans, right? This is obviously a better payment plan. It can't get any better, right? That's one thing. Other thing, I'll show you one announcement by a big company in Abu Dhabi. So this is an alternative pipeline that ADNOC, Abu Dhabi National Oil Corporation, is building to bypass Strait of Hormuz. And it's already 50% complete. And by next year, they are expecting to 100% complete this pipeline. Now that's the news. What's behind that? Why is that important? The speed of execution. To build a project of that scale, the rest of the 50% of this work will be completed in 1 year, within 1 year. Think about the capacity of the people building this. Now the people building this, that's also another important thing because that's being built by ADNOC. If you could remember, the chairman of Modon is also a board member of ADNOC. It's all interconnected, right? So this shows, this one initiative, for example, shows how proactive the government thinks because they see Strait of Hormuz as a threat to energy flow from UAE, in and out of UAE, and they are building their own pipeline. That's the capacity of these people, this government. They are taking so many such proactive steps measures, and they are always a few steps ahead of rest of the governments in the world, right? As I saw at the beginning, millionaires, billionaires are moving in as we speak, even during the crisis. Wealthy migrants are moving in from cities like UK, US due to unfavorable tax laws policies, right? As long as that happens, the demand is only going to keep growing, right? That's something that I wanted to show, that I wanted to share. With that being said, I'm going to share the first slide again and ask the same question again. Would you invest in this property, which is up for sale for 19.5 million, which is 10 years old with older facades, located in this location, close to a golf course, with close proximity to the beach? Or would you invest in this property, which is much more modern, more spacious, located in this community, with a much bigger golf course and a much more modern and much more private beach, at a price point of 10 million, half of it, with a 40-60 payment plan and only 5% to be paid during this year? If the answer is the latter villa, then do get in touch and let's have a chat.